everyone, this is Lisa from the Rhinestone World, and in this video we're going to use Silhouette Studio to print out a background with text, but also cut out vinyl to create this three-dimensional picture frame using an 11 by 14 frame. I have the base of my design in here in my Silhouette Studio. Now all I did for the lyrics in the back was that I brought it in to a text box, and then I just made sure that I had my text justified. After that, it's just a little bit of entering new lines and adjusting it to the size that you want. Once that I was set with my text box, I went ahead and I converted it to a compound path. And the reason why is that I don't want to do any more text editing, but it also makes it one large object, which will speed up my production process in the software. So what I did is I have it right here. I'm going to go over to scale and just make sure I have it at the right size. I'm going to put this at 13.7 inches. The reason why is that I'm going to print it on 11 by 17 paper, but it will be going in an 11 by 14 frame. So I need it to be able to fit inside the frame. And now I have my it as well typed right here. I also converted that over to a compound path. So what I need to do now is I need to take out where the text is behind this it as well. And I'm going to do a little bit of an offset to give it a little bit of separation once I have it in my frame. Let's go over here. I'll go over to offset. And I'm just going to do a 0.08 offset. I don't want it too big. And then apply. Now you can see, if you look closely, each section has its own box because they weren't touching. I'm going to do Control E and make that a compound path. And to make it easier for me to see, I'm going to go ahead and fill it in, and then I'm also going to change my line color. And I'm going to make it the same color, this green. Alright, so I'm going to take my original one and I'm going to make my line color black in this. And I'm just going to take away the fill right here to make it easier to work with later. So in Silhouette, when you go to do something like a subtract, what it's going to do is it's going to make each one of these lines a separate object. It'll break up this. I found out that when you do this with a lot of objects, it will crash the software. It's just a little bit too large for it to handle. So what we can do is, I found a workaround. I'm going to select my background. So there's my green. Hold down Shift and select your text, and let's go over to modify. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide. So this isn't going to take anything away, it's just going to create a cut line where every intersection is as well. So let's do divide. It'll process for a couple seconds. It might take a little bit, but it won't crash it like the subtract does. So we'll just wait for that to finish processing. It might take a little bit of time. And the reason why is you're asking your software to do something really big, something that's not typically made to do. So give it patience, don't click a lot, and just wait for it to finish processing. So check that out. Now we have a ton of little lines there because it broke it up. So what we want to do is we want to start deleting out sections. And this is where Select by Color comes into play. So let's go to Select by Color, and then let's go by line color. Here's all this part in there. Delete. Now all of that is taken away. And let's just go to our cut panel and just double check. So now you can see where that was is now deleted. So pretty good. And we have a little bit of a line around our text, and our cut line. So pretty good. Now what we want to do is go by fill, grab our black. So here's all of our text. We have a bunch of little lines again. So let's go ahead and do Control E and make that one object one more time. Alright, so now let's put in a background. When I print this out, I want it to have a textured background. I want it to look pretty good. So let's draw a box, and I'm going to make it outside of my area. Because I'm not cutting it, it's not a big deal, so we can go ahead and set it up that way. Right here, our fill pattern section up at the top, it's 2 away from your fill panel. I'm going to go over here, select this nice little wood grain. You can see it's right on top because I drew the square last. I'm going to right click it and send to back. Now it's a little bit dark, so if we go to our advanced options, we'll go over here and let's make our transparency a little bit lower. And that's pretty good. Now we could even take our text and make it a little bit more brown instead of black. That might look a little nice in there. So let's go over to fill color, make it brown, but I also want to just darken it a little bit too. So let's select our brown and then darken that a little bit. Okay, so now we need to set it up to print and to cut. So we're gonna go over here, go to our cut settings. We have our text selected here. We'll just do no cut. So now only our it as well is selected. Now we just need to do one more thing. We need to go back over to our it as well. So we just have to click on this inside, and we're gonna turn off the line color because we don't want that to print. Just do no line color, so it'll look like nothing is there. So we're ready for the first stage of printing. We're printing out the background text and the background pattern. So what you want to do is you want to go over and you want to print, and you want to make sure in your preferences, whichever you're using, is that you need to set it to 11 by 17 paper. If your printer is able to take that, that's what you're going to do. If you set it to 8.5 by 11, it's only going to print part of your job. So I'm going to go over, I'm all set, I'm going to print this, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Here is my printout. I have it on my 11 by 17 paper, and I have it set up just how I want. And you can see that the text is broken up where I want my vinyl to be, so that's great. Now all I need to do is set up my vinyl to be cut with my FDC. This is going to be placed on the outside of my glass, so I do not need to mirror it. There's a couple different ways that you can do it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and take these two sections and move it down. So I have it out of my workspace, and now highlight over there, there is my vinyl part. I can fill it in to see what I'm working with. And now I'm just going to adjust my workspace to make it easier to use in my Cameo. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring this back to 12 by 12. Alright, and I'm not going to use a cutting mat, so I don't need to adjust it that way. I'm going to set it up in my workspace like that. And I'm going to be using my Cameo 3, and I'm going to go ahead and use my premium blade that I have in my second tool. So you can see tool 2 is going to have that blue line around here. We're going to go over here, and I have a preset in here already for FDC. So now all I have to do is send it to my cutter, and I'm ready to go. Here's my printout of my background. This is the glass from my frame. I'm using this to know where to trim my text to fit into the frame well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right here, and I'm just aligning the glass with the edge of the paper. I'm going to trim the whole sheet down so it doesn't matter if it's past the line where it's printed or not. So I have it here. I'm just going to use my pencil and mark it. And now I can get this out of the way. Put my glass over here. And I'm going to clean it before I place it. So we have our paper here, and now I'm just going to trim it. I have a paper trimmer right here. Something that makes it easier to see. I'm just going to line it up. Trim that. And then one more time. Alright, so now I have my paper ready. You can see that it's trimmed down. And now I can start placing it in my frame. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my frame, and now I just need to clean it out to make sure I don't have any smudges on the inside. So just a quick spray. Let's just clean this out. Great. So now I have this here. I'm going to put my paper in. Just smooth it out. Might bow a little bit. If that's the case, you might want to trim just a little bit off the sides. I'm just going to leave it in there. Here's this little spacer. And now just double check to make sure you have it set the right way. Alright, so this is the top of my design. So I want to make sure the top of this aligns with it. So let's put this back on here. And then we'll drop these little stoppers in, wherever they are. Alright, so we have our text here. Our lyrics are looking good. Now, all I need to do is place my decal. And what I did is I just already cut it and weeded it out. It's on my transfer tape and it's all ready to go. So let's go ahead and clean this side of the glass too, just to make sure there aren't any smudges, dust, or any debris that would cause the decal to not apply well. And with this, I'm just going to make sure I have it really dry. Great. So now we're ready to apply our decal. Let's lift this up. And you just want to be very careful with it. You find your placement. Because we have that offset, we have a little bit more grace in what we're doing. So let's go ahead and find this. And I'm just going to use my scraper, smooth it out, really make sure I burnish it well. And this is our teal glitter FDC vinyl. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because it'll give it a nice little dimension to have the vinyl on the outside, but the text on the inside. Got a little bubble there, can smooth that out later. Now let's remove our transfer tape. Great, so now we have our hem and vinyl. So this is using an 11 by 14 frame. I use the print feature of Silhouette to make the text. That way it saves you a lot of time with cutting and weeding your vinyl. And then we did our vinyl on top. So if you have any other questions, you can email us at info@therhinestoneworld.com.